Hi, my name is Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstars. So as you guys know, this is where we interview people that are crushing it in this business, and we show you the inside scoop and the inner workings of how multifamily investors are creating incredible, massive success in their businesses and also in their lives. And as always, I've got my co-host, who's also the director of our massive action team for my Warrior group, Mark Nagy. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, Rod, I'm happy to be here. Good to see another familiar face for our guest here.
Yep. So this is a real treat because we've got a real ray of light on today. Her name is Vessi Kapoulian, and Vessi, she's been in the Warrior program, since the end of September of 2021. And she's in a total of 161 deals that she controls. And she's a marathon runner, which I didn't know. Anyway, I'm very excited to have you here, Vessi. Great to see you again.
It's so great to be here, Rod, and thanks for having me. And great to see you again, Mark.
Yes.
Yeah. So why don't you take a minute? You've got a very interesting background, which I didn't really touch on at all. Just give us a high-level overview of where you come from, because you've got some background that actually lends itself to this business, so which is a real plus. Just give us a little kind of bio, as it were.
Absolutely happy to share that, and I will keep it related to real estate. And with that, the real estate seed, you could say, was planted in me a while back behind the Iron Curtain in Bulgaria, because at the time there wasn't really a developed stock market in Bulgaria. So when people talked about investments, they really thought of hard assets, usually real estate, maybe some precious metals, and that's it. But like most people, I took the traditional path of going to school. It was my dream to come to the US. And so I came here with my two little suitcases, a lot of hope, faith, determination, and kind of took the traditional path of going to school and grad school and eventually joining a firm and starting to climb that corporate ladder. But
by the way, how old were you when you immigrated? Forgive me. How old were you?
I was 19.
Wow.
19.
That's
yes.
brave. That's brave. All right, please continue. Wow. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. So I started climbing that corporate ladder, and one would say clues were all around me. It just took me a little bit longer to see those clues. One being the Enron scandal, the stock market crash, eventually my own company going through a restructure. And you see how a lot of people either lost their 401k, retirement, in some cases jobs. And that really prompted me to start thinking, well, what do I do about that?
To protect yourself, right? To protect yourself?
To protect myself, exactly.
I just saw, sorry to interrupt again. I have to, I'm so bad at this. I apologize.
Okay.
But I just saw Disney announce they're laying off 8,000 people. I mean, this was just yesterday. Of course, we've seen all the tech layoffs, so who knows what's coming down the road. But anyway, I'm sorry. Please continue.
No, this is a great point, because a lot of people don't think about that.
Right.
And so I finally picked up those clues, although it took me a while. And in 2017, made my first investment out of state, really as a way to diversify away from the stock market, build a retirement nest egg. And that's what it was going to be initially. But it worked well. It was cash flowing, and it prompted me to ask the question, well, why don't I repeat this? And this led me to buy another property and then another. And then the question came, well, how do I scale this further?
Put your mic back up by your mouth, honey. Yeah, you went faint for a minute there. There you go.
Can you?
Yes,
Good.
much better. So back to your answer. So you said, how can you scale this? Please take it from there again.
Yes, how can I scale this? And at that time, I had started joining various investment forums, and one particular person thought, well, why don't you think about multifamily? And I don't know why I didn't think about it sooner, because a lot of my skill set and experience would lend itself very nicely, partly because my W-2 job is a commercial lender, so the underwriting and analysis is something I could easily transfer. And then from my residential experience, investing remotely out of state, managing the manager, all of these are transferable skills. So I decided to take action and dove straight in. I was very fortunate because at the time, so all of that was happening during COVID, and you had a virtual boot camp in July of 2021. So I joined that. It was packed with a ton of knowledge. You literally give away everything, everything you teach in the program. And I distinctly remember there was a call to action, and I figured I'm here. Let's take action. Let's schedule that call and find out more. And that one conversation led to another. Before I knew it, I had joined the Warrior program, which was one of the best decisions I've made, because at that point, there are a few things. One, you have a more structured approach through the courses that helps you learn. Two, you have accountability if you opt in the coaching option, which is what I wanted to do, and that propels you faster, further. But most importantly, you surround yourself with a network of like-minded individuals and mindset, your environment. That's key to success. So a combination of all that successfully helped me make that transition into multifamily, or I should say expansion into multifamily.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I know you've partnered with other warriors on these deals that you've done, these two deals that we mentioned already. And you said something about being around like-minded people. Guys, those of you listening, there are people in your life that out of their fear or their limiting beliefs or their fear of losing you or their fear of feeling rejected if you succeed or feeling less than if you succeed, they will hold you back, or out of their, their love for you, because again, like they might feel like they're going to lose you. And sometimes it's family. And so I'm going to tell you, love your family, but proactively choose your peers. Obviously we've got an incredible environment in the Warrior program, but if you're not interested in that, go to a real estate investor club meeting, go to meetup groups and meet like-minded people that are going to be excited about your success or your desires, your dreams, not afraid of them. Super, super important for you.
And one thing I want to talk about, once you did that, you had an interesting story doing your 2 deals, right? A lot of people always ask me, well, what's realistic? How quickly can you get deals done? And I know you did your first deal about 6 months in, and then I think you said your second deal a week right after that.
Right.
How were you able to do that? What did you put into place? Tell us about the story about getting those 2 deals and doing that in a fairly short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So big picture level is getting comfortable of being uncomfortable. So that's number one, and taking action despite of that discomfort that you may feel along the way. From a more practical standpoint, I think it's very important to be focused. So in those early conversations with my mentor, and even Rod would very often say focus, right? That's the power of focus. I focused on the market, that's number one, and I focused on a way I could add value. And in multifamily, there are really three ways you could do that: attracting capital, acquiring the assets, or asset management. I call it the 3 A's. Given my background in lending, loving numbers, being more analytical, I naturally gravitated towards the underwriting, so the acquisition piece of it. And in terms of market, because I already had some presence in Florida through my single family portfolio, already knew at least one of the markets, Orlando. Since then, I've started looking at other markets within Florida. I decided to just start it there. So I set on a journey following literally the advice that Rod gives in his program, all the steps of reaching out to brokers, responding, even though oftentimes it's a no, and really analyzing a ton of deals. It took me nearly 200 deals before I found the one. And of those 200, probably 5 we submitted LOIs on, and of those 5, 1 worked.
We got 1 deal. Yeah, that's very common. 200 or 300 deals to get one. I want to circle back to a couple of things you said, Vessi, which are just so Awesome. Number one is you said, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Guys, those of you listening, Tony Robbins has a famous quote, which is the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the amount of discomfort you can take. Okay. And I will tell you, if you sit and think about anything amazing that you've ever done in your life, I promise you, you got out of comfort. You push yourself. Okay. And it's the same way with this business. And, you know, the comfort zone's a nice warm place and nothing freaking grows there. Right. And so, you know, like Vessi knows, one of the first things we do at our boot camps is goals. How do you get anything if you don't know what it is? You know, people spend more time planning a freaking birthday party than they do designing their lives, and doing your goals is designing your life. So by the way, I did it on if you can't come to my boot camp, I've got boot camp, you know, virtual boot camps every few months. I've got one coming up in I think March 11th and 12th? That sounds, no, or is it May 11th and 12th. I got too many events. May 11th and 12th. And so, you know, and that's virtual. I don't sell anything there. And it's just, training, and it's drinking through a fire hose. But the first thing we do is goal setting, because you've got to have that. You've got to create that burning desire. So you push through those limiting beliefs. So you push through the fear. So you get uncomfortable. So you're okay with comfortable, you know, being comfortable to get uncomfortable. And you got to really want something to do that. And so it's so freaking important. Now, if you can't come to the boot camp, if you go to rodslinks.com, at the bottom is my goal setting workshop. I did it on January 2nd of this year. Have your kids do it. Have your spouse do it. Because again, you know, it's so absolutely so important. And the other thing you said was focus. And focus is so important. You know, the people that are the most successful in the world are the ones that have the highest degree of focus. Focus gives you clarity. And so, you know, and right now, you know, I like to say this as well. If you're listening to me, you are, or watching this, you're a leader. And right now the world needs leaders more than ever. And as a leader, you have to maintain your focus, you know, and so don't get me started on all the crap that's on the news right now. You need to block that stuff out. You need to stand guard at the door to your mind and bring in the good stuff and focus on the good stuff, and like your goals, to push through, because we're heading into some economic turbulence. We're already there. And so, you know, your focus in the news is going to say things that the sky is falling, and they'll say real estate will be bad forever, which is what they said in 2008 and 9. But like anything, real estate goes through seasons and goes through cycles. And when it goes down, it always comes back up, and usually, and always stronger, actually. And so, you know, but your focus is going to be even more critical through this period. Anyway, I kind of went on a little tirade there, but you know, I think it was important to drill down on some of that stuff.
Well, I'd like to get your opinion on that, Vessi, now that we're talking about the market right now. Today's February 9th. I don't know when this episode will get released, but what is the biggest thing that you're currently struggling with in the market right now as it is today? And
if anything,
and do you think that's going to change?
Yes. So like Rod said, right, there are ups and down cycles that we go through. So nothing to be scared of. I would dub this year as expect the unexpected. There are a lot of things happening. And of course, with the recent release on inflation numbers, I don't know how many people paid attention to the fact that they were slightly modified, which was on the Bureau of Labor and Statistics site. But anyway, at the end of the day, I believe in real estate in the long run. And so as I'm still continuing to look for deals to buy, I am adjusting my underwriting criteria to be more conservative and in line with the market, but it's not preventing me from continuing to look at deals. People ask me, when is the right time to buy? How do I time the market? I don't like to time the market. Any time is a good buy, as long as the numbers make sense. So I want to fall in love with the numbers, don't fall in love with the deal, and just keep striving forward. So right now, the biggest challenge is finding deals that pencil in.
Pencil out, because it's still right now, it's the people that want to sell. It's not the people that need to sell.
Right.
The people that need to sell is coming. Okay. And there are going to be incredible opportunities, and we're seeing it already. And you know, deals that these people that got bridge debt on are in trouble, and they're going to have to likely sell at a discount. And so, you know, that's an important piece of this. Oh, you said something else that I really loved and I lost it. Anyway. Okay. So Vessi, you know, we have so many people that listen to this show that have not taken action yet. Maybe they've done a house or two, maybe a duplex or something, but they know they want to go bigger. They know they want to, really create that lifetime cash flow, create that life of their dreams, that legacy. And, out of fear or limiting beliefs or comfort, they haven't done it yet. What would you say to that person?
I would say, first and foremost, surround yourself with like-minded individuals or people who encourage you, people who are 1, 2, or 3 steps ahead of you. So to help you envision what is possible. Have clarity of goals. That's very important, not only of what you want, but why you want it, because your why will push you to take that first step. It will propel you further during good times, and it will pull you up during tough times, because this is not an easy business. There are tough times. And you have to show up every day, 100%. You have to show up and take action. When you think of a big apartment building, 100, 200 units, that may seem overwhelming, and that's okay. So think of your first step. What is my first step that I need to take to get there? Maybe it's joining a mastermind like Rod's. Maybe it's reading a book. Take that first step and then think of what is step 2, what is step 3, and be consistent. It doesn't have to be a big step, but take that first step. And before you know it, if you are consistent every single day, when you look back a year from now, you will be much farther along than where you started. So that would be my advice.
Love it. Yes, those tiny steps add up as long as you have forward momentum and you're consistent. And you said get around people that are a few steps ahead of you, because a rising tide lifts all ships. If you're going to play somebody in tennis, do you want to play somebody better than you or worse than you, right? You know the answer. And so it's the same with this business. You just got to get in proximity. Proximity is power. Get around people that are doing this. By the way, as it relates to proximity and as it relates to getting around people, if you're interested in our Warrior program, you heard what Vessi said. And as you guys know, that's pretty much all we interview on this Rockstar portion of my podcast is Warriors, which is astounding that literally, we've got hundreds of them that can come on this show and speak about it. But if you're interested in applying to the Warrior program, text the word crush to 72345. So we can help you crush it in this business like Vessi. And so again, text crush to 72345 to apply, and we check you out and you check us out. And if it makes sense, then fantastic. If it doesn't, you'll still leave that call better than when you got on it. I promise you that. But the other thing that you said was take action. And guys, I'm talking massive freaking action. I will tell you, action mitigates fear. My most successful students aren't the smartest. They're not the wealthiest. They're not the most, connected. They're the ones that take massive freaking action. Okay. And that's one of the biggest secrets to success in this business. You just have to do it. Are you going to make mistakes? Are you going to get your nose bloodied? Are you going to have setbacks? Sure. In fact, that'll be my next question for Vessi, but I don't want to take all the thing. Mark, ask your next question and then I'll come back to that.
Yes, I get this. Another question that I get all the time: differences in deal sizes, JV, syndication. What's the right way to go, right? Is there right or wrong? And you've done an 11 unit JV and you've also done 145 unit syndication. So you've done both. What are some of the differences between the two, whether it's your team, deal structure, asset management, or maybe it's all the same and it's just mental that holds people back? Tell us, what do you think the differences are?
Good question.
This is a great question. I personally chose to pursue both. You don't have to pick one or the other. You can also do both. Because I view the JVs as my forever buy and hold strategy. With syndications, those are usually larger deals, more complex, and you do more often than not, right, work with passive investors, and very often they like to get their returns within 3 to 7 years. So you continuously churn those deals every 3 to 7 years. So there are pluses and minuses of both. I like both business models based on my own personal investment goals and criteria. With JVs, you have less people, usually I would say 4 to 6. Everyone's very actively engaged in the day-to-day operations and asset management. Like I said, those tend to be forever buy and holds, but of course, everything depends on the unique business plan for that assets. Syndications, you still work with a group of maybe 4 to 6 general partners who are on the management team and making sure the business plan gets executed, but you also have a number of passive investors. And to me, that's empowering. I wish I had started earlier. I wish I had known about this sooner, but it's a great way for people to get started and get in the business without having to do the heavy lifting and putting, of course, doing proper vetting of the operators, but then letting them do the heavy lifting on vetting the market, the assets, the business plan, and while still enjoying the tax benefits and the additional income stream. So there is a power to both methods, which is why I'm continuing to pursue both.
Yeah, and let me mention one thing to you guys. The difference between a joint venture and a syndication. In a joint venture, everyone has to be actively involved. They have to play a role. If you take money from someone and they're not doing anything, you have to syndicate. I mean, it's just a check to an SEC attorney. It's not a big deal, but you have to do it right. And don't think there's a way to get around it, because there isn't. Just if everything's been tried, don't even try it. If you're going to raise money, even from family, and you're not going to have them involved, I'm going to tell you, syndicate, do it right. Okay. And again, it's not that big a deal. You just have to dot your I's and cross your T's, and it's a little more paperwork. That's the bottom line. So, talk about a time when you had a little seminar, okay, in your journey where you got a lesson, and what happened, and maybe what was the lesson?
There are a lot of seminars actually.
Well, sure, there are.
I will pick maybe one from the multifamily experience. Okay. Unfortunately, when just right after we got under contract on my first deal, that's when the Fed had started raising rates, and then they started raising very aggressively. Yeah, we had a lender, term sheet from a lender. Everything was going fine, and I distinctly remember on a Friday, I was checking with him very often, knowing that the markets are quickly evolving. I remember distinctly on a Friday evening, everything was moving on track. On a Monday morning, I got an email, not even a phone call, saying we're putting our loan products on freeze. Good luck. So that was that was devastating. Why? Because up until that point, I had worked with that lender to get preliminary quotes when I was underwriting deals. So in my own little mind, I thought, okay, well, that person has already invested a lot of energy with us. I wanted to be loyal. So it was really a matter of the deal is his to lose, right? So it was only a matter of time before we did a deal together. One thing I would do differently now is have a couple lenders, work with a couple brokers, and some are okay with that. Some don't like it. As long as you're transparent and disclose that up front, that's fine. But I don't want to be put in that situation again. I had to muster up courage, call the broker, share the news, that's the right thing to do. Of course, I didn't just break the news and run away. We had a plan of this is who we're going to call, keeping them appraised every week, how things are progressing, and give them the comfort that we can close. And we ultimately closed. But it was nerve-wracking having to literally start from zero in the middle of a deal after you're already under contract. So that was a lesson learned, very painful, but that's how you grow. Yeah, no, I want to know who that lender was. We won't do it here, but I definitely want to let the Warriors know, because I don't tolerate that crap. That's just lacks integrity on all sorts of levels. So.
I want to ask one more question, Vessi, because I know you had, some commercial lending experience before you became a Warrior and started investing. And I know there's going to be a subset of people listening to this that are going to say, oh, well, I don't have that lending experience, and so I can't do multifamily. And they're going to make excuses, right? Mm-hmm. What would you recommend to those people listening right now, where they start or what they do to initially learn, that don't have any real estate, any lending experience that you had? Mm-hmm. Yeah, specifically for underwriting, and I'll just make a sidebar. Even for me, there was a lot of learning to do on the underwriting side from an operator's perspective, how we evaluate the deal, because lenders would look at it one way, the operator different.
way. And my experience was specifically with the more traditional 525 recourse loans. So the agency world was a whole new experience for me. But how do you learn? Well, I'll go back to your environment and taking the initiative to learn. There are a ton of books out there. There are a ton of forums, underwriting meetups that people can join. I highly recommend to everyone who's interested in underwriting is pick a model, stick to it. There are a ton of wonderful models out there. People ask me what is the best one, and my answer is usually the one that's best for you. So you determine what works for you.
Well, I know which one's the best one. It's ours, for God's sakes, because we just got it done, and it is absolutely freaking awesome. And my Warriors get it at no charge. But anyway, I had to throw that in. Sorry, I couldn't let that go.
Of course.
Absolutely. No, it has some really cool features, and I really like the new
I know you were helping
release.
with it. I know Craig told me you were helping with it, which is awesome. Well, that's keep going. Sorry.
So yeah, it's joining those groups, forums, educating yourself, and then just start analyzing deals. Pick a deal and pull it, whether it's LoopNet, Crexy, someone sends you a deal, analyze it and do it over and over and over again. And it's those reps that help you develop the experience. Again, for underwriting, especially in the beginning, I tell people pick a market because each market is unique, and that definitely impacts your underwriting and your assumptions. So when you know your market, you can be more precise and accurate in your modeling and your analysis. So that's what I would say, again, specifically for underwriting.
Yeah, that's specifically for underwriting
areas as well. Yeah,
that's specifically for underwriting, which is great. For those of you that are analytical, that's where you go. And so and what she said about picking a market is critical because the numbers are much different, market to market, expense calculations. And if you want to help in selecting a market, I'll give you some websites. One of them is bestplaces.net. Another one is city-data.com, city-data.com. Another one is datausa.io, datausa.io. Of course, census.gov is good. You got any others, Vessi?
The Census Reporter, that one.
Census Reporter, okay.
Yeah, that I like to look at median household income. So that's I
well, you can get
out.
that on multiple sites, but
yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Nice,
as well.
nice. So what's the why for you, Vessi? What's because you are so motivated. You've kicked butt. What's the driver?
For me, there are a lot of things that happened in my personal life and really COVID kind of pushed things forward. I want to live a life of impact and a life of significance.
Wow.
You can do that in many different ways, but to me, real estate is one vehicle, one path to do that. That's what drives me every day, and part of that.
So you
is
want to make
living.
a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to live forever and leave a positive impact in the world. And I think that's how you do it.
What's interesting. Were you at the live event we had was it Denver or Orlando, the last one, Mark? What was the last one we had? Denver.
I think Denver.
Yeah. Were you there?
I wasn't, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, we did a Hall of Fame for Warriors. First time we ever did it, where we picked 10 Warriors and just exemplary Warriors. You knew every one of them. And we just celebrated them, gave them a nice award, had them come up on stage, and we did a little PowerPoint, one slide for each one. Every single one of them does something to make the world a better place. Build schools in India, veteran suicide, veterans homelessness, sexual trafficking. They all participate and help in all of those, or in one of those, each one of them, every single one. Guys, that's a clue. You just heard what Vessi said, okay? That's a freaking clue. So it's not just about you. It's about how you're going to make the world a better place. Vessi, I really appreciate you coming on. It's wonderful to see you. I know you can't make the Warrior event that we're having March 11th and 12th, so we'll see you in the one in September. But anyway, it's wonderful to see you, and I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you, Rod. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vessi.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Mark.
See you.
So one other quick thing. We encounter so many people that are frankly frustrated. They're looking in the mirror and they're frustrated that they haven't been able to escape the rat race. They haven't been able to build cash flow to the point where they're able to have financial and time freedom with their families. and maybe they see other people buying real estate and creating, incredible cash flow, and they think, well, it's just scary. Buying apartments is intimidating. And I get it. But see, that's why we created our Warrior Mentorship Program. They're our coaching students, and they've had extraordinary results. My students, I've been teaching about 5 years, and they own upwards of 140,000 units now that we know of, right? And we feel like it's just getting going. Now we're looking to grow this group and really take it to the next level. And honestly believe that the greatest transfer of wealth could be upon us right now with this current economic environment. Everything's going on sale. So we're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework, really like a blueprint or a map, literally step by step. And then they're able to leverage our systems and our incredible network to raise money and equity, to find deals and close those deals and build partnerships, really nationwide. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more in our incredible network and take advantage of the unbelievable opportunities that are upon us, you can apply to my Warrior Mentorship Program by texting the word CRUSH to 72345, or you can go to mentorwithrod.com. And what we'll do is we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out and see if it's a fit. Now, again, you can go to mentorwithrod.com or text the word CRUSH to 72345 to apply, and we will speak soon.